I am Bob Russell. Today's date is April 29, 2019. I am almost 80 years old, so if my face looks old and wrinkled, yes, it is. In 1963, I decided to have a vacation to the islands of Hawaii. This Hawaiian trip began in Toronto with an air flight on Canadian Pacific Airlines in July 1963. I landed hours later in Vancouver, where a friend who had moved there previously arranged to meet me. The next day, I left for Hawaii with both movie and still cameras and lots of film. The vacation took 2 weeks to complete. As you will see in this slideshow, I toured all of the islands and went fishing off the big island of Hawaii. As many years have passed, I will show the dollar conversions when prices are mentioned. In general, prices are 8.5 times the 1963 level.
Aloha, auinala, wahines and kanes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The next 1/2 of an hour will be taken up with a showing of some slides from a recent trip to Hawaii. This tape recording controls the projector and so allows the actual operation of a complete show with a minimum of extra help. Across the ocean we have come, and now we land at Honolulu. The next slide shows Dhow Cannery, one of the largest pineapple canneries in the world. Here is the drinking fountain, where one can sample their pineapple juice before the start of a plant tour. Here, some of the hundreds of girls processing the pineapples trim the fruit, feed them into the slicing machine in the center, and pack them into the cans on the right.
This is the largest fruit factory in the world which produces canned pineapple, and this department here is called the Janaka department.
In the room to the left of this picture are a set of 40 Janaka machines. Each will remove the core, ends, and the shell of the pineapples 105 times a minute. We are now on a 100-mile sightseeing trip around the island of Oahu. And this is one of the spectacular trees which are sometimes seen. About 500,000 people live on this island, most of the population of the state. This is the beefsteak hedge, and may be in one of three types: rare, medium, or well done. For the flower lovers, these are the orchids of Hawaii. These are quite cheap, only about $2.50 delivered to the mainland. In this particular company, they had orchid blooms piled almost a foot high on benches, where girls put 30 to 40 on a string to form a lei, L-E-I. By the way, the price was for the Tanaka nursery in the city of Hilo. Near Honolulu, acres of Vanda orchids can be seen from the road. This is the pineapple. Perhaps you have never seen a pineapple plant before. The fruit grows on a short plant and hangs from the end of a stalk. The plant bears fruit 18 months after planting, one the first harvest and several in the next. But after a few harvests, the fruit becomes too small and the land is replanted. Here you can see the bright red of the soil of Hawaii. Here where we stop for lunch, we see the mountains again going up into the clouds and a Hawaiian bringing some bead necklaces to sell. This is the town of Haleiwa. Perhaps you've never seen a sugarcane crushing plant before. The sugar cane that you see is all blackened by the fires that have swept the fields, ignited just before the harvest. It is washed in the machine at the right. They burn the fields so that not only are the juices sealed into the stalks and the foliage destroyed, but also they have increased due to the destruction of animals that kill the plants. Here the cane trucks are bringing in more sugar. One of the interesting hills of Oahu. The green-covered hills of Hawaii sometimes have special features. In the very center of the picture, on that little peak, is the head of a lion looking towards the left, almost like a sphinx in Egypt. The drivers, by the way, never cease having fun amazing the tourist with their knowledge of the various sights, and they're always ready with a joke. One of the few trees that is hard to find is the income tax tree. It is also called the eucalyptus. Perhaps you have never heard of the papaya. If that is the case, it is unfortunate, for they are one of the most delicious appetizers to have before a meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. There they grow 40 to 50 on a tree. While they are something like a squash on the outside, because of their green and yellow coloring, they are, however, better than a cantaloupe, both softer and sweeter. This is one of the beautiful flowers that grow in Hawaii, the red ginger. Another interesting flower. Here are some more of the hills that go up into the mist. While Honolulu gets only 16 inches of rain a year, there is a mountain in Kauai, the most northerly island, which receives 460 inches of rain a year. And another city mentioned before, Hilo, receives 160 inches. This is Nu'uanu Pali, the cliff of the Nu'uanu Valley, that is Nu'uanu. Here thousands of warriors fell to the death as King Kamehameha I united the islands in the last. That is a road tunnel down there in the lower right. In the distance, the beautiful Pacific Ocean can be seen. Honolulu is the city down there, mostly hidden by the mountains.
Yes, music is all part of Hawaiian hospitality. A hospitality expressed by everyone, from the smallest child to the governor of the state, the Honorable William Quinn.
These Hawaiian Islands and the people who have lived here for many years have always had the good fortune to provide friendly hospitality to travelers from around the world. Our islands are open to all who wish to visit us. Because our islanders are of all races, we welcome people from all lands and offer to all who come our way a wealth of friendship, relaxation, understanding, and peace.
Yes, there are so many things to see, so many things to do. Take a boat or fly a plane to all the islands, out across the reef where the great whales play and breed their young, out to Kauai in the footsteps of Captain Cook, to the lovely city of Hilo on the island of Hawaii that gives the entire group its name, to Maui with its fascinating glimpses of the past, fern forests, great canyons, volcanoes that bubble.
This is the lazy author relaxing with a pineapple picked from the Del Monte fields and a can of macadamia nuts, another one of the exotic foods you must taste when you get to Hawaii. This is a view from my room on the 5th floor of the Princess Kailani Hotel on the corner of Kailani and Kalakakua Avenues in Waikiki. The Ala Moana Shopping Center, shot from a fast-moving bus. At the top of the tall building is the La Ronde restaurant. Like the one at the Seattle World's Fair, it revolves. Now I took a trip over the islands of Hawaii. For $75, you can go 900 miles by air, 60 miles by limousine, and 6 miles by boat. This is the island of Lanai, and the pineapple fields owned by the dhow canneries. The whole island is a plantation. The fields are rectangular to allow the long booms of the picking machines to extend 1/2 the way into the field from the road. The pineapples are then shipped by barge and railway car for processing. These are the eroded cliffs of Lanai. We are coming in for a landing for breakfast at the island of Hawaii. This is the small town of Kailua beside the Kona airport. This is the plane from which these shots were taken. The pilot is beside the author. Here in the Kona Inn, we had a wonderful breakfast. The typical breakfast in some Hawaiian hotels is smorgasbord, where you have your pick of a 6 fruit juices: orange, tomato, guava, pineapple, grapefruit, lilikoi. That, by the way, is passion fruit for you Malahinis or newcomers. Papaya chilled, pineapple chunks, Kellogg's cereals, scrambled eggs, bacon, ham, rolls, pastries, etc. Once again we get ready to take off to see more of the islands. On this tour, there were 4 planes in service at this particular time. Kailua and the fishing boats out in the water beside it can be seen below. We generally fly about 1,000 feet or less during the tour, except between the islands when the sea falls far below. One of the interesting villages on the side of a sugar plantation. The sugar can be seen in the lower right corner. Here is a black sand beach, one of the few in Hawaii. Now we have landed in the town of Hilo on the north coast of Hawaii. This is in the banyan tree park. And this banyan tree was planted, as you can see, by George H. Babe Ruth in October 29, 1933. So you can see how fast these trees grow. These trees normally send down additional trunks out beyond the main trunk to support the large branches. This is the Rainbow Falls. Only a small amount of water is flowing over it right now, but in a later slide, when we come back to Hilo, you will see water flowing over in cascades. Once again, Hilo. To the right is a field of sugarcane, and to the lower left, the bird of paradise plants. This is another picture of the author in one of the nurseries of Hilo. On the tours of the islands of Hawaii, you will see various establishments where one can buy everything from flowers and shirts to beautiful monkey pod bowls. The anthurium plant in the center, with the large spike, comes in many shades, the petal varying from purple to pink, and the spike from white through yellow to light red. Once again we take off. There below is the luxurious green of the sugarcane and the brown of the fields yet to be planted. A sugar crushing plant is in the center of this photograph, with the workers' houses surrounding it. Now I am sure you will love the high and mighty cliffs of Maui. These cliffs rise millions of feet into the air. It would be fun to climb one, wouldn't you say? In amongst these cliffs can be seen the occasional waterfall. Have you ever seen a leper colony, by the way? You are now flying over one. This is Kalapapa. It is on a little peninsula on the island of Molokai. Soon it will be closed down, for there is no longer any need for leper colonies. We have now flown past Oahu and on to Kauai, the most northerly island of Hawaii. This is one of the most beautiful cliffs of Kauai. A rainbow can be seen in the upper right corner. Due to the lack of film, the boat ride in Kauai cannot be shown, but was captured in a movie. You are now looking at one of the most spectacular sights in the Pacific, the Waimea Canyon. It is also called the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. As our plane circles within the canyon walls, we see the river flowing thousands of feet below. The pilot often uses the wing to point to objects, like the river below us. Now we leave Kauai to see the little island of Niihau, N-I-H-A-U. This island is owned by the Robertsons, a rich family in Hawaii. They have requested that only those who can speak Hawaiian can go to the island, which eliminates many Hawaiians these days. This is a shot of the beaches of Niihau. This is the little village where most of the 200 inhabitants live. There they have interesting names for their villages: Pu'uwei, Kie, and Nonopapa. Sometimes the people come out to wave at the circling planes. Now we have flown back to Honolulu and are disembarking after 12 hours of flying and boat riding. An indoor scene, the traditional dress of a newcomer to Hawaii. The orchid lei was retrieved from a luau that evening. Plumeria tree. It makes one of the most colorful leis you can wear, and comes not only in white, but also in white tinged with orange, yellow, and red. The prime requirements of a flower for leis are that it be colorful and be easily threaded on a string. There, far, far below is Honolulu, stretching out to the left and to the right, and in the center, Diamond Head. You have probably watched the TV serial Hawaiian Eye, which always starts off with surfboard riding in Waikiki, which is towards the right center, and a picture of Diamond Head in the background. Diamond Head was named after diamonds, of course, but they didn't really exist. The sailors who thought they existed turned out to be sadly mistaken. These pictures were taken from one of the high suburbs of Honolulu. They stretch 1,000 feet into the air, up the side of a mountain. You would be hard-pressed to find steeper roads regularly serviced by buses in a city. Here is the author at a luau, posing with a pretty photographer's model. The camera shops regularly send photographers to these events to obtain pictures for the tourists. If you come the next day to the camera shop, you can pick up your pictures for $1.50 each. The skirt she has on is made from the tea plant, T-I, not T-E-A. And again she comes around while we are eating. For the ladies, a young Hawaiian man wearing the native dress does the same thing. Now we leave Honolulu, just coming back again for the final takeoff for Canada. We are leaving on a turboprop airliner for the island of Maui. Now we are in Maui, and one of the first things we see is a large hill called the I'au Needle, I-A-O. It is in the I'au Valley, in case you ever come to Maui. I'au Valley. While I was in the town of Kahului, this Japanese sailing ship, the T.S. Nippon Maru, was docked. Later on, when I traveled to Hilo by yet another jet prop airplane, I was able to see a hula dance in a small auditorium. Unfortunately, the lighting was inadequate to show the bright colors. The next slide, a Hawaiian woman in native dress, may affect the modesty of some of the audience. You will note the bright colors of the orange and pink plumeria lei and the tapa cloth skirt. A very ancient type of plant. A smaller variety of it. Back to the Rainbow Falls and the cascading water. As you can see, the mist is rising a few dozen feet off the water. Sometimes when the sun is right, a rainbow can be seen. In Hilo, there are many Japanese. As a matter of fact, Hawaii is 36% Japanese. And so they bring their artistic abilities to Hawaii also. This garden is owned by J. Kansako. An orchid, the flowers of Hawaii. Beautiful, are they not? More anthurium plants. Here the anthuriums grow under fern trees in the nursery. Now we go to the Hawaii National Park. This is Haley Mau Mau Crater. It's about 1 mile in diameter, and in the center of the picture is Kilauea Iki, Little Kilauea. All around this area is the crater Kilauea, over 8 miles across. In the great distance is Mauna Loa rising up into the clouds. Kilauea Iki in 1959 spouted lava. 300 feet of it now exist in the bottom of that crater, with only 45 feet hardened. These slides show that eruption. Near the fountain glowing in these pictures is the site of some slides to be shown now. This is a cinder cone which you could have seen a few slides back near Kilauea, Iki. As the little sign says, in case you cannot read it, this area is dangerous, fragile, and unstable. Be safe, stay off the cone. It says on this picture, at the base of the cinder spatter cone to your left, and obscured from view, is the main vent of the 1959 Kilauea Iki eruption. Fountaining attained remarkable heights, 1,900 feet once, built this cone, and created the 100-acre devastated area behind you. Once the great fountain leaned over and showered the opposite crater wall, veneering Spatter Ridge with a mantle of black lava. The rugged islands below are sloughed off masses of the cone, which were rafted out into the molten lava lake. Vast amounts of lava were liberated, filling Kilauea Iki with a lake 414 feet deep. Subsequent backflow down the vent lowered the lake's level and left the conspicuous ridge around the base of the crater. The summit of Pu'ai, or Fountain Hill, is not visible from here. It will be seen with many other interesting natural features when we take the 15-minute walk along the devastated trail. End of quote. This is taken in another spot along Kilauea. Not very long ago, molten lava flowed down there. In the extreme left, along the crater, can be seen the color of Kilauea Iki, orange. So as you can see, we are only a few miles away. The limousine, by the way, is the Mackenzie tour car in which I was riding. Thousands of years ago, the lava from another eruption created the Thurston lava tube. Here, while it does not show much except the bridge, is the entrance. It was created by molten lava flowing along the ground, solidifying on the outside, but remaining liquid on the inside. Finally, the lava flowed out of the tube entirely and left this natural formation. arrived in Kailua, I arranged to go on a fishing trip to see if I could catch a marlin. The rod the captain is holding on to is one of the marlin fishing rods with over 1,100 yards of 100-pound test line, not secured at the end. If the marlin, when it strikes, can outrun the boat speeding after it for 1,100 yards, it is free to go. Technically, it would be free anyway, because it could undoubtedly snap the line. Some marlin approach 900 pounds in weight. This is one of the other fishing boats. About 4 miles away are the shores of Hawaii. We had 5 fishing poles on board, 4 for marlin and 1 to catch live bait. The 2 bait fishes we caught were over 15 inches long, and they constituted our only catch that day. This boat, with its autopilot, allows the captain more freedom. At times, no one is watching forward. Sometimes when we are at a very steep angle to the waves, the boat really rolls. But no one got seasick on this trip, fortunately. Back to Kailua, the King Kamehameha Hotel is in the background. Now in the foreground is a sailing ship. Now docked, the boat from which we fished, the Puakai, can be chartered for about $80 a day. Alternately, a group of 4 can go to lower the individual cost. A tuna was caught by a proud fisherman from another boat. From my hotel room, a rainbow is seen. Here is a picture showing just how far some designers will go to be different. That, believe it or not, is a wash basin. Simulated lava forms the knobs and spout, producing a hard surface to grip. This is the open-air restaurant in the King Kamehameha Hotel. Have you ever tried to get seated and look like you're doing something in the 10 seconds before the camera shoots? Sparrows and mynah birds often fly under the inner table after breadcrumbs. Now I have come back to Honolulu and took these shots while waiting for my departure. This is the Tourist Information Bureau. The writing is in English, Japanese, There are a couple wahines buying leis for their friends. Now we take leave of Honolulu and say, Aloha.